Welcome back to Five Ingredients, everybody. My name is Chris, aka Captain Cook. I am joined with my co-host Pebs. I am from Spicy Memories podcast. Pebs is from Peb Talks, and we have joined forces to give you the least amount of ingredients in the least amount of time with the most amount of flavor. Assuming that makes sense in your head.
So that was really nicely said.
Oh,
we should put on a banner. That's the greatest way to start off the podcast. I'm never starting it off again. It's all you. It's all you.
Oh man, that's a lot of pressure now.
What is it again? What did you just say? The least amount of ingredients,
the least amount of time, and the most amount of flavor.
That's like music to my ears.
There you go. We need that on a fucking t-shirt, just like a plain black t-shirt with those lines, just like that, right? Yeah. Okay.
Fireworks at the beginning of episode 3.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes. That'd be great.
What is this episode? What are we calling it? What is this?
Calling it?
What are we making? 5-ingredient burger.
Right. 5-ingredient burger.
Okay.
I guess you could say, right? Or like adobo burger, but I guess we should probably say 5-ingredient burger. We'll get into the specifics for all you people pretty soon. So before we get going, hopefully everyone has caught up on the first couple episodes. The first episode we did was a pasta aglio olio, where I scorched Morgan's nerve endings on his tongue. And then the second episode, for those of you who didn't listen, the second episode was a lemon pepper spatchcock chicken, which was juicy. And as I believe Morgan described it as succulent, which I love that description so much. It's like that word moist. It's like people either love it or they hate it. You know?
Oh, yep,
succulent. It's like along those
succulent's
lines.
The good version of moist.
Very true. Very true. I'm going to try to substitute out moist for succulent now in my life. People will just think I'm pretty weird, but that's all right. So yeah, we are making a burger for you people. The reason that we were talking about the summer and like what people do, and there's cookouts obviously. And, before we start this recipe, I just wanted to, make it clear. We wanted to that, we're not giving you a recipe today that's going to be like, this is the best burger you've ever had in your life. Like, this is not one of those $17 restaurant burgers that has truffles and all that shit. Like, it's not like that. This is meant to be, oh my God, I have 15 people to feed, and I have, all these people basically are going to get hungry at the same time, and I need to bang something out, but I don't just want to put salt and pepper on the patty, basically. So this was supposed to be like an elevated, I guess, cookout burger, I guess. But yeah, again, this is 5 ingredients, which means that the specifics of what we are doing stay true to the name. Okay, we are gonna stay true to the name. I'm not gonna be like 5 ingredients plus 3. No, it's going to be 5 ingredients. It's just, this is supposed to be simple recipes, ideally sometimes for weekdays or in situations where you have an hour or less. In this case, 30 minutes or less, maybe for this one, maybe?
Oh, I did this this is one of the quickest episodes, maybe 15 minutes.
I love that. I love that you made a meal that you could feed multiple people within 15 minutes. That idea.
So quick.
Like, that's why I love like pasta dishes and like pasta and veggie dishes, because you can literally throw them all together in the time that the pasta takes to boil. And I don't know. I love it. I love that idea.
Yeah.
So,
and hey, listen, sorry to cut you off, but
it's our show. Go.
One tip you've taught me, and I think 5 ingredients is all about helping people who don't know really anything about cooking, which is myself. So if you were never taught that you can have like your chicken cooking, I made this the other night, and put your pasta on, let it boil. And then at the very end, when your pasta's almost about done, bring it over with some of the water into the pan, what is it called?
The pan, the saute.
Yes, in the pan, the 3-letter word I forgot. And then you can mix it around with like the ingredients that are in the pan, and it makes your pasta taste really good, which is, oh my gosh, so simple, and it makes everything taste so good. And I looked like I knew what I was doing, and I was like,
That's what chefs do that, because that starchy pasta water helps whatever flavors you were cooking in that pan. It just helps them cling to the pasta, because spaghetti, long pasta, stuff like that, it's not like penne or rigatoni that has the ridges, and the ridges help trap in flavor and sauce and stuff, right? Long spaghetti and linguine.
I never thought about that.
Yeah, it's like ziti. They're just like flat noodles. Everything just falls off. So you need something to help it kind of bind a little bit. And that starchy pasta water that you just spent, 12 minutes cooking the pasta in, that ripped all the starch out of the pasta, that water is like gold. That's why I always got yelled at when I was younger that you're always supposed to save a cup of the pasta water in like a jar or like a Pyrex or something. And then even if you're doing like a red sauce, you're supposed to add a little bit too. It's one of the best like tools you can use in the kitchen, and you don't need anything for it. You're already making it. So yeah, I'm so happy to hear that you did that, because it makes pasta dishes go to like the next level. It's like,
and I wouldn't have learned that had we not been doing 5 ingredients. So just
you
little
hear
things.
That, people? You hear that? There's at least one benefit to this thing in the world. Okay, so I'm not doing this. We're not doing this for you people. We're doing it for me.
It carries over. I swear, the ingredients into the other aspects of your other dinners and stuff. So.
So basically, and before we jump into anything, please catch up on episodes 1 and 2 if you have not already. As I mentioned before, episode 1 is pasta aglio olio. Episode 2 is lemon pepper spatchcock, my favorite word in the whole entire universe. And I'm allowed to say it. It feels like a word that I'm not allowed to say, but I'm actually allowed to say it, which is why I love it. It's like, I feel like I say spatchcock and people still are just like, that just sounds a little wrong. I'm like, but in my mind, I'm like, I know I can say it. So you can go to hell. How about that? I'm like, I know that I'm allowed to say it. So why don't we start off with you just giving me like a rundown of what you thought of the final product. We'll get into the specifics of the recipe, but I want to hear what you actually thought after it entered both of your face holes there. So
it was good. I thought it was really quick. It was really easy, and like, this is what I had in mind when I said I wanted to do a podcast for 5 ingredients. Like, seriously, this is so quick, and it's like, you already probably have the stuff in your refrigerator. I didn't, because I'm not a normal person, but like this is something that anyone can do. You could do it with a child. Like, this is a good episode that you could do with a 5-year-old, and they would get the concept of what cooking is. You have to mix the ketchup and I don't want to get ahead of us, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's just like one step right there. Mix 2 of the ingredients. Like, it's so simple. So, and overall, I thought it was pretty good. Personally, I am still learning how to cook a burger because, again, I'm not a normal person. So for me, I just made my burger too thick. And so for me, I was like, oh, okay, next time I'll have to just make sure I cook it more thoroughly or make a thinner burger. And so that's a learning thing.
Yeah, but also that's kind of the availability that I left open in the recipe on purpose. Like, people may look at this and be like, well, I don't want to make a smash burger. And they'll be like, so I just want to cook the way I cook the burgers. I'm like, well, then cook them the way you want to cook it. That's fine. Like, the idea is that this is almost like a utility kind of recipe where I'm like giving you like a process. But like, that's why we left buns off the recipe. I'll tell people right now, there's no bun in the recipe because I don't know everyone is different. Everybody likes gluten-free. Some people like potato buns. Some people like the sesame buns, like from Burger King. Other people eat them without the bun if they're not eating carbs and they're on Atkins. I have no idea. So the bun is not the important thing, especially if this is meant to be like a cookout style burger. You're going to buy, if you're feeding, I don't know what, 10, 15 people, right? You're going to buy whatever the hell you can that costs usually not as much. Like, you're not going to buy everyone like artisan brioche buns if you're having 20 people over. Maybe some people will. That'd be nice. I wish I could go to those barbecues, but I'm never invited for some reason.
Fancy.
But yeah, so basically, if you want, do you have anything else I could, before I read everybody through the recipe? Anything?
No, let's do it. Let's go through it.
All right. So it's you may this is a shot in the dark for some people. You may have guessed, but there's 5 ingredients. So
woohoo!
Stay true to our name, man. If nothing else, it's very easy. 5 ingredients. I'll just read off the ingredients first, and then I'll give you amounts. Ground beef to make a burger. Cheese. Whatever kind of cheese you want for the burger. I suggested cheddar or American. I personally like the taste of cheddar better, even though American tends to melt a little bit better because it's like shittier, basically. As far as like how it's like made, it's not as like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not, it's whatever. It doesn't matter. Anyway. But yeah. And then, adobo seasoning. So adobo seasoning, which is for people who have never seen adobo before. It is very common, I promise. Even if you've never used it, I guarantee you, there you go. She's got Watkins. I have Badia.
Hey.
I know Goya makes it. Everybody makes it. So
yeah,
adobo is weird because I feel like a lot of people don't use it. But if you go to any Stop and Shop, Walmart, ShopRite, like any grocery store has adobo, like any of them, right? Not the little mini mart maybe that's on Route 6A or whatever off your little highway town, whatever.
Right.
A sideway, a highway stand's not going to have it, but any grocery store will have this. So the adobo seasoning, and then the last two ingredients are sweet relish and ketchup. That is it. Now you may be saying to yourself, Captain Cook, Pebs, what's wrong with you guys? Why are you giving us these things? You can't make a burger with those things. What's wrong with you guys? You don't even know what you're doing. Why are you hosting a pot? Listen, I promise. Relax. Okay? We'll walk you through it. All right? So
it's only seven steps?
Yeah.
And the seventh step is enjoy. So and that's a must. So we're going to keep it to seven steps.
I wrote the 7th step as enjoy. Imagine somebody gets to the end. They're like, I got to fucking enjoy this thing now. Jesus Christ. Give me something else. Hey,
listen, if you don't have to scroll through to get to a recipe online through 20 stories that you don't care about, then we're going to say enjoy at the bottom of ours.
Exactly.
Okay?
Oh God, those online recipes, whoever invented the idea of those pages having a jump to recipe button saved my life. Because some of them still don't. And it kills me.
But the fact that you need one, why is it even there? It should tell you we don't want that.
And I probably shouldn't tell people this because I'm a cook, but I have literally closed out recipes and gone to other ones because I'll be scrolling and I'll get so frustrated. I'm like, I can't do this. And I'll literally close out the tab and Google it again and be like, nope, I see that highlighted in purple.
No, I believe it.
I'm like, I'm going to go to another one. So as far as the amounts of the ingredients, I suggested 1 pound of ground beef. Mainly because if you buy it in a package in a store, usually it's around a pound. I think mine was 1.3. I'm assuming you got about a pound. If you go to a butcher or if you go to the counter and you say, I need a pound of ground beef, they will give you exactly a pound. But most humans, I think, go to the meat section and they just look at what's already prepackaged. And because of, the cost of beef, the smallest amount of regular 80-20 beef, which I'll explain in a minute for those of you who don't know what 80-20 means. It's just a pound usually. So 1 pound of ground beef, 1 brick or 1 bag of pre-shredded cheese, sliced cheese, whatever you want. I buy bricks of cheese, and I shred them or cut them myself just because pre-shredded and pre-sliced cheese, more pre-shredded cheese, this is a problem, has a lot of anti-caking agents and stuff like that on there. And it's just not amazing, to eat a lot. And we eat a lot of cheese. So because we do, I'd rather just get an actual brick and do it myself. 1.5 tablespoons of adobo seasoning, which, FYI for anybody listening, this is all based if you're getting 1 pound of ground beef. If you're going to use half a pound, you cut everything here in half. If you're going to double it, if you've got a few people coming over or me, then you double the recipe. 1/4 cup each of sweet relish and ketchup, and that is it. You could literally look at your ingredients on a single little plate. It's just it's nice and tight. That's how we like it. You know what I mean? Keep it squared up, as they say in boxing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And of course, I didn't put buns, but if you're whatever kind of bun you want, that's fine. Don't read my recipe and be like, I guess the bun just manifests itself. No, it doesn't. I left the bun.
I totally forgot.
Which is fine. No, it's fine. No,
should I tell that story? How I go to the
yeah. Go ahead.
Whenever we do this podcast, usually I try to get the ingredients as fresh as possible. So I knew I was making it tonight and I waited and I bought the ground beef and everything that I needed today at the grocery store. So I pull up the recipe and I figured, well, we only need 5 ingredients. So I just looked at the top 5 ingredients and I just bought those things. And I guess I totally was spacing out on the fact that, I don't know, it's a freaking burger. And then I got home and I had hot dog buns and I was like, fuck it, I'm going to do it. I'm going to make them with hot dog buns because this is what we get for not putting the buns at the top. And then my husband says, absolutely not. Morgan says, I will go to the gas station and I will buy buns. I'll be damned if I'm eating this on white bread or a hot dog bun. So Morgan saved the recipe.
At least you went with the flow. See, I try to I would have come home and seen the hot dog buns and been like, did I say I'm sorry, I meant Philly cheesesteak. What? Yeah, we're having Philly cheesesteak. And we only have hot dog buns. Is that all right? I knew that we had them. Totally knew that. Is that cool? That's how I would have played it off. So it's good that you at least were like, oh, it's fine, we'll use them.
No, I wanted to stay true to the recipe, and so I figured we'll just make what he says we're making, just lacking the bun.
So that being said, get whatever buns for this recipe you want. or use what you have. If you're Atkins and you don't eat a bun, then go to town, don't eat a bun. If you're gluten-free, get a gluten-free bun, or use a piece of a paper towel. I don't know what people, I have no idea. But yeah, I don't know, whatever they use, those gluten-free people. No, that's not true. I have gluten-free friends. It's just some of the doughs doesn't matter. That's a whole other podcast. Anyway, yeah, those are the ingredients. Very easy, very available. I tried to think of things that were literally available in every grocery store. I'm trying to appeal to the mass. You know what I mean? This is one of the few instances where it's about quantity, not quality. So, although I should say it actually is about quality, because I think this is like, if I went to a cookout and somebody gave me one of these burgers that was off the grill or off a pan or whatever, or like a Blackstone, like a grill top, a grill pan, whatever it may be, and I tasted like some good seasoning in the meat, and I there was like a sauce with ketchup and relish, and I was like, smell the cheese on here. I'm like, this is a friggin' good burger. I thought this guy was gonna be throwing hockey pucks on buns or some shit. Like, this is like,
right.
You know, because that's like the classic cookout burger, is the dude who's like standing there flipping them every like 2 minutes when he doesn't need to.
Yeah.
People like hovering over his shoulder, like looking like, oh, what do you got going on there, bud? You know?
Yeah.
Like, have you ever
Are you flipping them fast enough?
Yeah, you know, you got to turn. You want grill marks. You know, the grill marks. You got to flip the burger quarter. You know, it's like, you ever tried beer can chicken? It's like everyone just, you know.
Wait until you see my Instagram pictures. I tried the grill mark.
Oh, did you?
I tried, but I think it's just pathetic.
Well, that remains to be said. I highly doubt it's pathetic. I'm sure you got something on it, which is good. Mine was just like, whoosh. Mine was just, you know. Because I will say this, I didn't use a grill, people. I used a cast iron. I think I wrote it as a cast iron, but I also wrote in the recipe that if you want to, you know, cook it another way, you're totally right. This is more about the process. So, I think
that was a whole nother step here.
It was, yeah. It was just again, the steps are not really like, it's kind of like, I don't know. It's like, I don't want to assume anything about our listeners, right? But if we get, I don't want to.
We're non-discriminatory here.
That being said, okay. If you looked at these ingredients, right, and you were like, you know, well, I don't know how to put any of this together, right? You may want to just slow down in some aspects of your life. I'm not saying, like, I'm just saying maybe reevaluate some stuff. Just because now again, this may be my failing. This is like, I tried to make it as simple as possible, because we had a couple recipes that were like on the border of being like, yes, these are very doable, they're very easy, but some people maybe would be like, you know, I don't want to deal with that. So I was like, what could somebody make where they literally couldn't even argue with the amount of ingredients or the process, right? Where they were just like, this is almost too easy for me not to make. That's what I'm trying to say. Like,
yeah,
this is like this. That's what I was attempting, and hopefully I succeeded. Maybe not.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. This is only episode 3. It's a learning experience. So we'll go through it. Anything, madam, you'd like to add before we go through the steps themselves?
You got to clarify the ground beef.
Oh, sorry. Okay. So 80-20, when I say that means that there is 80% fat, 80% meat, 20% fat. Basically, it's just a fat distribution ratio. Like when you see like the meatheads at the gym who like all work out and like all care about their like muscles and tones and stuff, they usually, if they're eating meat, they'll try to get something with a like 93.7 beef, which means that there's very little fat. Right.
Okay.
Turkey comes like that too. Turkey is like, there's like 93% turkey where there's only 7% fat. And then there's 99 turkey, which real like people who like want just protein use, because there's literally almost no fat. You know, and usually from my experience, the less fat there is, the less flavor there is. So if you are going to use a less fat ratio, that's not a lower fat ratio. There you go. English. A lower fat ratio. A lot of seasoning usually is needed to render out some succulence.
Gotcha. Okay.
But yeah, so that's all I mean by 80-20. 80-20 is just regular ground beef. That's the standard ground beef that's sold everywhere. So don't get confuse anybody with that. But yeah, so that's that. Personally, I think 80-20 is the best. It's the best for caramelizing. It's the best for crisping it up. I mean, those little fleckles of fat that are in there are what give it that nice kind of crust and stuff, because if you didn't have any fat at all, the way that it browned would be totally different. So
okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's, you know, fat does play a part. Don't be afraid of the fat, which is something I've said before. Okay. So yikes. So the process of this lovely recipe. First thing, season your meat. That's the first thing you do. Take it out of the package, season the meat, but we're going to season with what, Pebs?
Adobo.
Adobo only. I don't want to see anybody. Your instinct, like me, may be to do salt, pepper, all that stuff.
Right.
But adobo has salt in it, which is why I chose it. So, like, just as an example to everybody reading, this little Badia adobo that cost me, $1.70 or whatever it was. The ingredients that they list, which I can't read because there we go: salt, garlic powder, a little bit of sugar, turmeric, citric acid, and there's an anti-caking agent, I think, or something like that, or like a preservative in there, citric acid. Yeah. So mainly there's salt, there's garlic powder, there's turmeric, and I think there's like oregano and stuff in here too. So it's kind of like a hack seasoning because it's not a rub. It's meant to be put into ingredients, like to cook out. So that's what people need to realize. This is not something where it's not like a finishing salt. You know what I mean? Like, those like specialty rubs that you see where it's like barbecue finish or whatever. It's like those like spice blends, I guess you could say, quote unquote.
Okay.
It's not like a spice blend. It's literally meant to be a seasoning that you cook with. So there's salt in there. And I've made the mistake of double salting with that before. So you do not need to add salt if you're seasoning with adobo. And I think I told everybody that, if you have about a pound of beef, I used about 1.5 tablespoons of adobo. I don't know if that was a good ratio for you guys. But
yeah, I bought 1/2 pound because we just I made 2 burgers out of that. Doing it again, I would probably have made 3 burgers out of that because both of us, they were a little bit big. But yeah, no, so we did 1/2 pound and I kind of eyeballed the seasoning a little bit, but
I did too. It's okay.
Yeah, I mean, I did according to what I thought was half of 1.5 tablespoons.
That's totally fine. Also, we want to tell people eyeballing is fine. Just, it's part of cooking. Like,
it's part of the quickness too.
It's part of the quickness. Exactly. I can eyeball a lot better than some because I use so many of these seasonings that, clearly that didn't show in the first episode, but I can eyeball pretty well because I use a lot of seasoning. So like I know when I sprinkle when I've hit about like a tablespoon and I'm like, all right, that's good. I used about 1.5 tablespoons, but yeah, if you buy 1/2 pound like you just cut that in half. So 1.5 tablespoons was at like 3/4 of a tablespoon, pretty much, right? Something like that, right? I can't do math. So yeah, you season your meat, and then after you season your meat, wet your hands a little bit. It may help. I sometimes do. Martha Stewart taught me that trick. Where when you're making meatballs, you want to wet your hands so it doesn't stick to your hands. That's what Queen Martha told us.
That is good to know.
Yeah, that was just a little extra there.
Fun fact. That should have like pop up on the screen.
Yeah, fun fact. Fun fact brought to you by Martha Stewart. Sponsored by Martha Stewart. So you want to roll the meat into balls. Now, I said golf ball size. Now a good hack. I didn't put this in here because some people would read this and be like, "I'm not."
A golf ball would have been good, but I skimmed over that part and just did whatever the fuck I wanted.
Which again, that's what I love about cooking. You can totally do that.
Because if I did the golf ball, we wouldn't be sitting here saying that the burger was too thick.
Well, that's also true. But
I need to really focus on reading these better.
Okay, no. Well, then here's a good tip for next time. I usually use an ice cream scooper.
Whoa.
I use an ice cream scooper because that gets you the exact same amount every single time. And you
can do that
with
good tip.
Or 2 scoops. So it doesn't matter if you have just the old school 1950s, like you could gouge people's eyes out with it, the solid one. Or you got the one that has the little like
the
clicker thing that like doesn't really get the ice cream off, but they try they try like 20 times before it just falls into the bowl. I'm like, just fucking shake it. Like you're literally clicking in the ice cream.
It just makes you feel good,
Yeah. I mean, they look up at you with that paper hat and you're just like, look, it's bad enough you got to wear a little triangle paper hat. Just give me my goddamn ice cream. Like, anyway, sorry, the show's like off the rails today. So
we got to fill time since the episode is going to be so damn short.
Exactly. Literally. I'm like, this is like halfway through the fucking recipe already. All right. So yeah, you roll them into little balls and then I put them in the fridge just to chill while you're doing everything else. There's not really that much else to do except for heating up your pan and mixing ketchup and relish together. So we'll go through that. But the first things first, season your meat, roll it up into balls. I did the balls because I was making smash burgers, right? For those of you who have never made a smash burger, it's very simple. You make a little meatball, you put it in the pan, and then you fucking smash it. That is the actual Webster's Dictionary definition of smash burgers. It says you fucking smash it. That's what it says on the end. Is Webster still a thing? I don't know. I just reverted back to my boomer verbiology.
Yeah.
Verbiage rather. But so if you don't want to make smash burgers, that's totally fine. I know people who don't like thin smash style burgers. They like the nice, juicy, thick patties. And so you can make them into a hockey puck looking shape and cook it however you want. That's totally fine. It's still going to taste pretty much the same. I just happen to like thin patties that are usually multiple on the bun because it makes me feel like I got something a little extra, even though it's kind of the same amount of meat. You know, I'm like an idiot. I'm like, oh, 2 patties for me. So and then what you're going to do is just like after you've made those balls, put them on a plate. If you don't want to put them in the fridge, you don't have to. And then step 2 is in a small container or a bowl. You just combine your ketchup and relish. That's it.
This is where you get your child into the kitchen.
Yes,
absolutely. And you hand them the ketchup that they always want to squeeze anyway.
They want to squeeze it because it makes that beautiful fart sound. That's why. Like,
right. I mean,
like, come on. That's the best
totally.
part.
Yep. But, and then you get the relish and then you hand them the little scooper and they can handle it. This step is for them.
Right. Don't let them handle the raw meat. But I mean, you could also, I don't know. It depends how old your child is. Just make sure they don't eat it. Or if they eat it, make sure you season it. Doesn't matter. Don't let them eat it. Don't let them handle the raw meat.
Make sure the raw meat's seasoned before they try to ingest it.
Yeah, because then
that's Captain Cook's big thing.
At least if they're gonna get sick and food poisoning, it'll taste good going down.
That's the hill he's willing to die.
Oh God! Don't listen to me when it comes to child advice. All right. So
I don't know.
I don't know. My son's in for a whirlpool. But yeah, so then you mix together your ketchup and your relish. I personally will put that in the fridge because I want that as cold as possible when I put it on the burger. It's a nice kind of contrast. Room temperature kind of ketchup is kind of blah. I mean, to me, I've always liked a chilled, nice bottle of ketchup. You don't need that. I mean, diners leave ketchup on the fucking tables all the time. Like it's shelf stable. It'll stay. It's just, I personally like a nice cold condiment, put on like a nice hot, freshly cheese melted cheeseburger. Did I just say a freshly cheese melted burger? Oh my God, Pebs.
That kind of sounded good though.
Freshly cheese melted burger. That's like a new dish.
Freshly cheese melted burger.
It's a good name for a band, Gary. Right?
It's an emphasis on the cheese.
On the cheese. That's true. Maybe the bun would be made of cheese. Ooh. Sorry, I just got a crazy
bun burger.
The bun burger, actually. Well, you can do that. We can melt cheese so that it solidifies on the pan, like they do with those birria tacos type things, and that becomes a solid little flappy thing that you can use. So maybe we should make like a cheeseburger. No, that's like a heart attack waiting to happen. Okay, I'm literally replacing buns with cheese. There's like, okay, so that was step 2. The condiment, very easy. It's 2 ingredients. Step 3. If you need to shred your cheese, if you bought a brick, shred it. You can use an old school metal torture device box grater, or you can cut it, slice it like I did with a knife. I like slices because then I can just layer like 2 on, and I know. You can also, if you buy pre-shredded, pre-sliced, there you go. You just cut a step out. So congratulations. So that's
what we did.
Yeah, which is perfect because the recipe that has 7 steps, 7 being enjoy. You just cut out a step, so that's literally.
And one of them's grilling instructions.
Literally, I'm looking at this now. I'm like, why the hell did I should just talk to people? This is insane. So that was step 3 for the cheese. Now, step 4 is this applies if you're doing a stovetop. All right. So for the stovetop, it depends. Some people are going to ask maybe what kind of pan they should use or whatever. As per usual, I'm always going to suggest a cast iron if you have one, just because it cooks everything, mainly meat, the best. Like it really does. So,
yeah, we use cast iron too,
which is perfect. That's good. I usually recommend cast iron for people. It cooks meat, everything better to me. I mean, it's just amazing. Now, if you don't have a cast iron, use whatever pan you have. Use a grill top. Use the grill. That's fine. These specific ingredients that I'm giving are for a stovetop, and I'll run through the grill right after. But for a stovetop, if you have a pan or a cast iron pan, you want to heat it to like medium heat and drizzle like a little bit of canola oil because canola oil has a nice high smoke point. So when you put the cold patty in there, it's going to probably like sizzle and like smoke at first. So you don't want something that's just going to burn. Olive oil, I think we talked about this maybe in the first episode, or maybe the second episode. It burns at lower temperatures. So heat up a pan to medium heat. Put maybe like a teaspoon or a couple teaspoons of canola oil. And then once the pan is hot, which you should know because you'll see the oil, like when you first drizzle it in, the oil just slowly kind of moves like that. And then when it gets hot, it starts to shimmer, as we call it. And you'll see it's to kind of start to smoke. That's when you know it's time. You can also just take your
It's
hand.
time.
It's time. You can also just take your hand and press your hand directly on the pan, but you'll end up in the hospital. So
Oh, okay.
yeah,
That's another way.
I mean, I do that. I'll put like my hand like that, but I have like no feeling left. Like I grab my cast iron, but no rag now. It's like,
Oh my gosh.
yeah, it's from being burned so many times. I don't even care. It's just like, it's an inconvenience at this point getting burned. It's annoying. But you put the balls in. You don't have to smash them the second you put them in, but put as many in. Leave yourself a little bit of room if you're going to smash them. This is just as far as the smash technique. Put as many in as you think are going to like spread out, not all crowded. Don't crowd the pan too much. And then that's it. Now, once they're down, that's when you press it. And you can press it if you have a grill press, like one of those cast iron presses that I have, you use that. If not, use the bottom part of a spatula, right? And if you need
so satisfying.
It's so nice, right? And you can take the spatula and then you literally take like let's pretend that this bug catcher that I am holding here, which this is a literal like spider catcher because like my wife
That's
has
a new one. I've never seen that.
Yeah, she's got like real like arachnophobia, and we live like basically in the woods, so this comes in handy.
But you don't kill it; you just trap it.
Yeah, you just trap it, and then I like to
just kill it?
Well, no, if it's big enough, usually I'll kill it. But if it's something that I don't want to kill, I'll put it in here. And then the real fun part is going outside, opening this, and then going all catapult and going and just flicking it out.
Yeah, what the heck? That's crazy. No.
It's supposed to teach them a lesson. Like, stay the fuck out of my house.
To teach them a lesson.
Yeah, like stay the fuck out.
How do you know they even survived the fall?
I don't. That's a risk I'm willing to take. All right, instead of just ending it all.
Wow, it's a lot of effort.
It is a lot of effort. Very, very Machiavellian. Trust me. I'm a weird individual, Peps. So yeah, basically, I imagine this thing is like a wooden spoon. Basically, you have your spatula that you just pressed here. You just take the wooden spoon and you press down like that because you don't want to press with the handle. Some spatulas can bend, whatever. If you use something like this on top of the spatula to press down the burger, you will get a nice even kind of press.
Ooh.
So it's a nice easy.
Okay.
You can do it with the bottom of a wooden spoon, any utensil. It's super easy. So that's the smash technique. That's it. Now, when you make them that thin, and by thin, I mean like if you're going to do a smash burger thing, I don't know, like an eighth of an inch, a quarter of an inch. Like I'm talking as thin as you can get it, basically. It's going to cook super fast.
Okay.
Like maybe 90 seconds on one side. And if your pan has been hot enough, the best way to do that though, and people are afraid to do this, I don't know why, check. Just take your spatula and just lift up the little tiny edge of the burger and just look,
That's what I did, yeah.
Right. There's a very famous scene in that movie, Chef, with Jon Favreau, where he's making a grilled cheese, and he does something that a lot of cooks do, which is he takes the spatula before he flips the grilled cheese, and he just lifts it a little, and he looks like eye level with the pan. He goes in and he looks. And it's supposed to show his attention to detail and his care and all that stuff. However, cooks do that because why are you going to flip it over just to be like, God damn it, now I got to flip it over once more, and you flip it over again. So it's just always just check the bottom of it, it's fine. And if it's sticking to the pan, you didn't use enough oil. So there you go. That's how you know. But yeah, so you smash it. And then after 90 seconds or so, depending on your pan, 90 seconds to minute, 2 minutes, whatever it may be, you have to kind of just keep an eye on it depending on the kind of pan you have. For a cast iron, about 90 seconds, I'd say. You then flip it over. As soon as you flip it over, you layer the cheese on because that other side is going to cook so quickly that you want the cheese to melt. So, side note, outside of this step, if you want your cheese to melt quicker, get a lid or aluminum foil and cover the pan. What I used to do to really speed up the process is I'd cover it, but right before I would cover it, I would just pour in like a teaspoon of water and then close it right away because that water turns into steam. So then you throw water in, close the lid, you steam it. Like you ever seen in like a burger joint or a restaurant places or anything on cooking shows, they have these like upside down bowls that go on top of burgers on like griddles and stuff like that. You ever seen people do that? It's like they use these in kitchens. They're like, they're like matte, like stainless steel, pewter looking things. That's literally just meant to like entrap all the heat and melt the cheese. So if you want to speed up the process, you can do that, but you don't have to. If you've got multiple patties, what I like to do is once they're kind of cooked, layer them on top of each other in the pan for the last like 30 seconds because that'll just help everything kind of come together. Yeah, exactly.
I made my patty too thick, so I didn't like press it down like enough, and then I put the cheese on top, and then I realized I can't really like push it down now because it's gonna like, you know what I mean? Right. So don't do what I did.
Well, also, this is an important lesson too. Patties can get back to being too thick if the pan is too hot. So when the pan is too hot, when you put cold meat down, what happens to cold things when they hit heat is they contract. So when you put, it's like when you cook bacon in really high heat. You ever see it like start to shrivel? Like the fat will like shrivel, but the meat will not actually cook. They cook at two different times. So same thing. If your pan is too hot, your burger's going to just start converging and shrinking, and that'll make it thicker. So, patience is a virtue, I guess I could say to people.
Okay.
Yeah, why not?
That makes sense.
Yeah. After those, you put the cheese on. As soon as it's flipped, you cook it for another minute, and then you basically just wait until the cheese is melted to your liking, take it off, and let it rest on the side. Now, that's for the stovetop. If you're doing it on a grill, obviously, you can't really smash on a grill unless it's like a Blackstone or like a flat top grill. Obviously, you can do a smash burger. If it's like an open grill top, with open holes leading down to the propane and charcoals, just make them as thin as you can ahead of time. Just even with your hands, so you can try to flatten them out a little bit. That might help. But kind of like you see dudes in pizzerias, they slap the dough back and forth when they're flattening it out. You know what I mean? It's similar to that. You just kind of got to like maneuver it a little bit to make it a nice flat a circle. But yeah, for the grill, that's basically what you got to do. You just after the grill is nice and hot, all together. Usually, depending on what you use, and this can vary on charcoal or propane. On average, you want to cook ground beef for about 7 to 8 minutes altogether, not per side, altogether. That'll give you a nice like medium burger. So not dried out and disgusting. Not to say well done is disgusting, but I'm sorry, well done is disgusting. But that's just my opinion. But it's disgusting. And if you were using a thermometer, like we had suggested on the last recipe, that should read at about 140 to 145. That's like a good medium temperature. That's like what people recommend with like good, like medium rare steaks. That's around the temperature also I think that you want to be, I think that's what they say. So that's the grill. That's it. And then once your burgers are cooked, you're done. Like that. I don't know what else. Like that's it. You put it on whatever.
You need more detail.
Yeah, like whatever vessel you're using, whatever bun or vessel or bread or whatever, right? Pitas. I don't give a fuck. You layer. If you want to get all chef and fancy on it, you take one big tablespoon, like one big serving spoon of the sauce that you made, the relish and the ketchup, and you just in one motion drape it over the burger.
Ooh, okay.
Not glopping it on. A good chef trick when they're dressing and when they're finishing a dish and they're like plating it, making it look nice. The trick is you take your sauce, whatever you're doing, you want to do it in one motion, right? So you just drag the sauce.
That's not what I did.
Because you didn't go to cooking school. I didn't go to cooking school, but like, why would you? You don't study.
This is good to know.
So, like, if you ever see how like chefs will bring out something that has sauce that's just so evenly draping, and it looks like it's just nice and flat on top, but it's dripping off the sides. That's literally just from them drizzling it on in one motion, spooning it on. So
nice.
That's what I suggest on top of the burger. You can do it on the bottom if you're weird. That's fine. And you put it on the bun, and you just go to town. I'm trying to
enjoy.
You enjoy. That's step 7, the most important step.
Don't forget it.
Don't forget to enjoy. And if you don't enjoy, I don't even want to hear how the recipe turned out.
If you go to hell.
Yeah, you can go to hell, literally, if you didn't enjoy. Because that was the part of the recipe that I wrote that had the heart and soul, okay? I'm trying to make a connection to you here. Like, give me some... Oh, God.
No, I see it. It's there. I hope they feel it.
I made this with my heart. I'm trying to think of, like, a little bonus tip that I didn't write that's, like, optional. I guess a pro tip, which I didn't put this because I know it's like a cookout type thing, but if you're doing this amongst a few people and you want to really lock in the flavor, toast your buns.
I threw those down in the cast iron.
See, you freaking know. Guys, she knows. Pebs knows.
I'm figuring it out.
She started this as a novice. She's at beyond intermediate now. All right. She's leveled up.
Oh, yeah.
Man.
Sailing through the levels.
Hell yeah. By the end of this, she's going to teach me how to make a béarnaise sauce. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be nuts. But yeah, so always toast your buns. I like to throw down a nice glob of butter in a pan and toast the buns in butter because it just tastes better and it gets them nice and brown. That's like my go-to usually.
That's advanced. I was advanced.
Yeah. But again, also toast your buns in the fucking liquid that you just cooked the burger in. It'll make it taste so much better. Oh my God.
I can see the meme now. Like, when you level up.
Level up, toast your buns.
We could have your normal bun, toasted bun, toasted with butter.
We could have like a half filled like thermometer, like those fundraising things, you know, like when people fill it in, and just have different levels where it's like, down here it's like white bread, up here it's like potato buns, up here toast your buns, like up here,
toast your, we should make our own 5 ingredients chart.
That would be good. That's something we should work on.
The 5 steps of bread deliciousness.
There you go. The 5 steps of bread. That's a fucking book right there. So I guess that would definitely be a pro tip, is to toast your buns. I would suggest shredding your own cheese from a block because it melts way better. I didn't say that in the recipe because I didn't want to force people to, do things, a different way than maybe what they're used to. But that's kind of the point of the show, is to push people a little tiny bit out of their normal comfort zone, maybe, or expose to them things that have already been inside their comfort zone. And it was there. It's like when at the end of a movie, when you find out that the love was inside of you the whole time. Right. It's just like, it was always there.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. The ingredients, are in your heart.
Right. Exactly.
The ones that you really want to use.
Peps and I are always with you, no matter what you do.
Yes. In the kitchen.
You will hear our voice all the time. So yeah, that's basically it. I mean, I'm trying to think. There's not really much else. I mean, with these limited ingredients, that's pretty much as easy as it can get. That's as good as it can get. So after enjoy, Peps, come on, hit me with a thought review. I want to hear something. My God.
Yeah. So I got Morgan's review for us that we always,
our favorite part. We need like a little, now it's time for Morgan's review. Just like we need
we do. We need a big man voice for this.
Yeah, that's what we need.
It's 1 minute and 18 seconds. I always love saying how long the clip is. The clip was 2 minutes. So
that's what I'm talking about.
It shows you how quick the whole thing is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Spatchcock was a little bit more involved, and he did a more involved review.
It was, because it was. I think it hit him. He was like, "Oh, okay."
Oh,
he was like, "Okay," because he was going in blind. This, it's like it's a burger that you cooked in like 90 seconds. Like he was probably going to be like, "Yeah, I figured this would be good."
Yeah.
But like a spatchcock chicken is like, he hit it. He was like, "Oh Lord." He was like,
"Yeah."
Oh Lord. He was like, "Okay," like So I'm excited. Right. I'm very excited.
Here we go. Let's turn the volume up. And my phone titled this one.
If he didn't blow into the microphone this time, I don't want to hear it. Just throwing that out there.
Reminding. That's not in this one.
Well, I don't want to hear it then. I don't care.
All right. My phone titled this one salsa.
Oh boy. All right.
Here we go.
It looks really good. Smells good. Nice thick patty. I chose cheddar cheese for mine.
Can you hear the kids screaming in the background? Close the window.
I love
Let's try it out. It's really juicy and flavorful. It's not spicy or anything, but it's really good.
You scarred him so.
I've ruined his life.
Sauce side is good, or do you want to eat the other side more?
I mean, both sides at the same time. Look, the sauce side is really good. I like the sauce side.
Do you have a name for this one?
Mild salsa burger.
Mild salsa burger? Whew, haven't had mine yet, so okay.
Well, it's not hot salsa. It's mild. Nothing to woo about.
Rating?
4 out of 5.
Okay.
And then that's it. That's what we got.
Hey, 4 out of 5. Let's all give it up for Morgan. Thank you once again. The vital part of 5 ingredients, literally. Because
not spicy.
That's the main. Oh God, I fucking ruined his life. I completely scarred him. Like, oh man, I really. Oh God, I feel so bad.
It's so funny. I love it. It's like the perfect joke.
You know what's weird? I thought of him and you when I was at this farmer's market, because across the street, across the way from where I was selling, there was another booth of this local semi-popular sangria company, and he was sampling sangria. And I don't really drink a whole lot anymore, but I was going to try local sangria. Why not? It's basically there's like barely any alcohol in it. Well, I'm I was an alcoholic, so I'm like, there's not really a lot of alcohol in wine. No. So I tried it, and he was like, this one's jalapeno flavored. I'm like, okay. He's like, but there's no spice. I'm like, what? He's like, I wanted the flavor of jalapeno, but I realized that a lot of people gauge spice differently. So I just took the spice out of it. So there's just the flavor of the jalapeno. And I drank it, and it wasn't bad, but I didn't really know how to feel about it because I make hot sauce, literally, like for like professional. Like, so like to me, my brain was just like it didn't know what to do. I was like, okay, but I'm like wanting to taste spice because I know this flavor, but there's no spice. And then I got like a little angry, and I'm just looking at the glass of sangria, like, what are you doing to me? So, but I thought in the moment, man, Morgan would probably like this because it tastes like there's no spice, but it tastes like like you could say he drinks
That's
jalapeno,
funny.
So it popped in my head.
Yeah, no, he probably would have enjoyed it. For me, for whatever reason, I just can't. This whole taste palette there is just.
Well, we'll slowly.
I'm missing.
We'll expand your palate. Don't worry about that.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, I mean, so I'm 4 out of 5. Hey, I can go to sleep properly now tonight. Seriously,
Yeah.
I am so happy that he liked it, that you guys liked it. I mean, that's like, it's that. It's supposed to be like, I go to cookouts expecting like a 2 or a 3. I'm like, all right, what kind of fucking hockey puck is this dude gonna sling into my face? Like, that's my baseline, right? When I go to like cookouts, especially if it's like, Uncle Kenny or something at the barbecue, and he's got some stupid apron on with like a hat. Right. And he's just like talking about his new like driver that he bought for his golf clubs or whatever. And like, he's not paying attention. So I'm just like, he's going to burn the shit out of these burgers. That's what I think about at cookouts, by the way. I don't care about socializing. I'm watching the person grilling, and I'm like, you're messing up, man. Like, this is not good. So if you were able to do this and you're feeding a bunch of people, that's what this was all about. I guess like for any like final tips, final tricks, anything like that, it would literally be like, this is not meant to be, quote, this is the best burger you've ever had. This is like, oh my God, I have to feed so many people, but I don't want something to be super bland, and this is the best I could come up with as far as like a hack of like adding in as many flavors as I could with only 5 ingredients. And honestly, I think the key was the adobo, because that does more for the meat than people realize. And like I said, chicken or pork, this is like the best, literally. If you use adobo, you put on some oregano if you have it, right? And a little bit of black pepper, because I don't think there's any black pepper in here, and you are just money, like you're gold. It's such a good combination.
I haven't heard that in a while. That's so money.
It's so money. You're so money, you don't even know how
we got to bring that back.
Hell yeah. We're gonna force everyone to watch Swingers. That's the next homework assignment. Everyone has to watch Swingers and then come back to us. But yeah, final tips and tricks, I would say, don't buy the worst quality meat that you can find, just because in general, that's usually a good tip, but that doesn't really have anything to do with the burger. And I would recommend shredding your own cheese or cutting it, because it tends to melt a little better and taste a little different. But you don't have to. It's also optional. And yeah, I would say make the patties ahead of time and season them, and maybe even let them chill in the fridge for maybe even 20 minutes ahead of time. You don't have to. Like, you could literally make them into the balls and leave them on the counter while you do everything else, because all of that happens in like a 5-minute span. That's the beauty of this recipe, is that everything is so tight and compact.
So what's the difference then? What's the 20 minutes? What would change the taste?
It locks in the seasoning a little bit more and lets it kind of settle into the meat a little more. And also, it's sometimes better to put a cold patty on a grill as opposed to one that's room temperature. It can hold its shape a little bit better sometimes, although you are smashing it in this case, so I guess that wouldn't really matter. It's more for the seasoning then. It's more just to lock in all those flavors. Like, that's the same thing. Like, marinating anything the day before is the best thing you can do. Like, if you were going to cook chicken breast for you and Morgan one night, if you season it the night before and put it in Ziplocs or a container and throw it in the fridge and then just pull it out and cook it the next day, you're going to be like, what in the Sam hell did I just eat? That is so much better than any chicken I've ever had, because...
okay, I'll have to try that.
Yeah, you're allowing a full day for all the flavors of the seasoning to penetrate the meat more and more and more. And it's the same reason why when people make like fried chicken or Nashville hot chicken, they'll let it sit in, buttermilk overnight, because that loosens up all the meat and it penetrates the meat and changes the whole texture of everything,
Okay.
But the name for it, for this burger,
that was the mild salsa burger.
I'm all about it. I like it.
The mild salsa burger.
And we have to put a little disclaimer: there was no salsa used in the making of this
burger. Like what?
Which It's kind of perfect though in a way.
I like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But what do we have for next month?
Ooh, next month. All right. So I mean, we could do a few things. We could do a few things. We did a cookout one like this. We could do a straight up barbecue one if you want. Not sure if that's what the people want, but we could do that. There's also there was this idea that of like the crispy salmon with the noodles.
Okay.
So there was this dish that I made up a few months ago where you crisp up salmon as if it's little bits of chicken in a pan, and you use that on top of ramen noodles that you then have a sauce with, and it's a very easy minimal ingredient kind of thing. And so maybe that. So one of those two things that would be a little tease.
That sounds good. Okay.
Do you have any thoughts on this overall? Anything you would do differently next time, maybe, or anything that you want?
I'm just gonna go with the thinner patty and actually follow the instructions with the golf ball instead of like I don't know. It was the palm of my hand size. It was too big. So
yeah, that's a decent sized ball right there.
Maybe a little bit small. Yeah,
a little bit smaller. Maybe maybe here. I'll tell you what. This is a good trick. Don't do the OK symbol like this. Go with your middle finger like that and make a circle.
I thought you were going to do rock on.
Imagine like that. Yeah. Like, that's what you need.
Turn your rock ons.
Yes. That's all you need is Satan. No.
Yeah. Okay. So I went
that should
too
be
big.
more than fine. Yeah. But that's
okay.
There's nothing
yeah. But other than that, I mean, this episode was out of all of the things, I don't know. I would say this one's the easiest, and then the pasta one, and then the spatchcock one.
I would go along with that. I'd say, yeah. I would say we probably could have thought about this ahead of time and done them chronologically according to like skill level. But the problem is then you get people who maybe are like intermediate cooks who listen to our show and they're just like, well, yeah, I know how to make a freaking burger, man. And they just like, and they're like, so they just don't listen.
Yeah, of course. But I think this was it's a good starting. I've never made a burger before. Again, I know I'm weird. So
no.
Like this was a good start.
Well, I will say if you are going to make a burger that's not a smash burger, okay? This is all right. This is the last thing that I wanted to do, but I could not because I had to stay within the 5 ingredient limit. I make one of the best burger sauces that anyone's ever tasted in their life, right? And it's pretty much a combo of ketchup, mustard, mayo, relish, 3 other seasonings, and a lot of black pepper, right? Now that tastes like this beautiful burger sauce where you're just like, oh my God, what the fuck? Like, and I wanted to use it so bad because I'm like, I know how good this is and it'll blow people's nips off. Like they'll just be like, bing, like done, right? But I only had 5 ingredients and that literal sauce is more than 5 ingredients. So I couldn't do that. That being said, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they sell quote unquote burger sauce in stores now. Like they sell a bottle of burger sauce, which is basically that. So
okay,
part of my brain was toying with the idea of like, should I make people go out and buy burger sauce? That's kind of like a weird request. Like it's usually in the ketchup and mayo aisle there. Like, you'll see like Chipotle aioli and things in there sometimes, like sriracha mayo and stuff. It's in that area there.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to literally just be like, okay, what can anybody grab at any store in, like we basically arranged this for everybody, unless I'm mistaken, that where you could go into a store, buy the ingredients, drive 10 minutes home, and all within that hour, pretty much, you could pretty much have a burger.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's, I mean, we can't do it better than that.
We can't get it any more simple than that.
That's basically it.
Right.
Anything you want to update the people on? Anything you want to tell them?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think that we're pretty covered. I'm enjoying the summer. You know what I mean? I'm learning some other skills instead of just podcasting, still keeping up with Pep Talks podcast. As I saw you posted new Spicy Memories episodes. I
just released one today. Yeah. With a very longtime friend who lives in California. He just came out with a new single. His band is actually doing really, really well. And, he's been a musician since he was like 15. Like when he was like 15, he was playing at the Whiskey A Go-Go in LA. Like literally, like he's been like a musician for like years. So I had him on because he also cooks. He used to cook with me when he lived in Brooklyn.
Oh, okay.
We used to hang out, and it was the best because I've known him since I was like 6. So like when I heard that he was coming to New York for college, I like lost my mind. I was like, it's so amazing.
Nice.
So we cooked a great meal one night with a chef friend of his as well. So he came on the show. Pep Talks has been amazing, by the way. If you guys have not listened to it, if you need a little boost of confidence at the end of your week, I don't know where else I can recommend you turn. Like fuck TED Talks, like Pep Talks. Pep Talks is where you need to go, man. Like I
oh my gosh, I never realized the similarity in the TED and the Pep Talks.
Yeah, because TED Talk, I guess, is wrong. It would more be Pep Talks, because TED Talks is more like people just talking at you.
No, but it's like it is kind of like, I don't know,
it's
but
borderline motivational. But sometimes also you're like, why did I just hear about you serving in the military for 2 hours? Like I don't, it's not, you know what I mean? Like it's not always for everybody. But Pep Talks is for everybody. Pep Talks has been awesome. I find myself doing dishes at like 10:30 when I'll catch up to it and listen to it. And I'm doing dishes and I'll find myself like bobbing my head like, yeah, man, like totally. Like, I'm like, yeah, totally. Yeah. This is great. I'm like, I don't feel bad about doing dishes anymore. The link in our bio has links to our other podcasts as well. You've also been teaching yoga this summer.
Yes, that's right. I'm an uncertified yoga teacher, but I'm all about good vibes. And that's, if you especially don't have like a group of people, you can count on us every Friday at 6:00. For the most part, I mean, life happens.
Right, exactly.
I gotta host baseball games, damn it.
Right. She's uncertified, which means she can make the time go up and down. She's like, yeah, she's uncertified, which means...
Is that what that means?
No.
I make the time whenever I want to do it.
And out of curiosity, just because my wife used to do yoga religiously and be in classes and stuff, are you going for the 200-hour like certification to be a teacher, or are you just...
I think I probably might.
That would be awesome. That'd be another thing to add to your list of incredible credentials.
Right? The fact that you have to pay to do it. I just want a mentor. You know what I mean? To like be able to like...
Why can't this be a thing where people like go into the mountains and they get a shaman for a few months?
Yeah,
They come back with a beard and they're just like, I know Tai Chi, right?
Yeah. It's not like that, no. So unfortunately, would have to dedicate like all of like my weekends to it. It's hard when you work and you know what I mean. But like, it has to be your priority.
Yeah, when you have a life and a job and a marriage, it's hard to keep. It's hard enough doing all the things that you do.
But we'll see.
It's been great to watch. So click the link in our bio at 5 Ingredients on Instagram. You can find us on YouTube as well, 5 Ingredients Podcast. All that's linked in our link tree in the link in bio. Each episode is a video episode. So that's going to be on YouTube as well if you don't want to watch it on Spotify. And if you guys have any suggestions for recipes to use in the future, you can always email us 5ingredientspodcast@gmail.com.
That's us. Yeah.
And that's us. And you can literally let us know. Catch up on the first two ingredients. Jesus. The first 2 episodes, if you haven't already.
Follow us on Instagram. It's at 5 Ingredients Podcast. And it's at 5, like the number 5 Ingredients Podcast.
Yes, not the word 5, like, proper English, the number 5. Make life easy. You want the number 5 to be associated with our faces for the rest of history.
Exactly. Right? Right. Not 4, it's 5.
No, 5 ingredients. Okay. It's easy. It's 5, cinco, cinque, as the Italians say.
5.
So, as we said, follow us everywhere. Get the link in our bio. Thank you so much for listening. I am Captain Cook. This is Pebs, and this has been episode 3 of 5 Ingredients.
See you next time.
Ciao.